Yesterday we have some trouble with our software due to compatibility issues. PHP 5 is not compatible with PHP 8. So we can start again by creating a new database. You already know how to do this, and it will be in the video again. So what was the name of the database that we created yesterday? That was a table.
Okay, UPS.
Okay, UPS. Or we may change the name of the database to Jubaili today. So this is how we create a database. We have already explained this. You just write create database, then you provide the database name. Then the next step is to change the environment to the database, right? That is use. You just write the name of the database. Okay. There is A missing, right? Okay. It's not case sensitive. It doesn't matter whether it's capital or small. Okay. We have our tables from yesterday. So we are going to create one of the tables. We are going to create this event. Okay. We are just going to create the table event from the whiteboard. So to create the table, we just need to type what? Create table, then what else? The table name, followed by the table name. Then in the brackets, we have the attributes, that is schedule ID, type, and route. So this is what we are going to do again. So I'm going to type it schedule ID. What is the type of this? So variable character, and we need to supply the length. Let's say it's 5, for example. This is an ID. Okay, and we are also going to make it the primary key. Or I can just write it in capital. Primary key. Okay. The next column is type. So we have type. What is the data type for the type? So this is type of the event, right? So we just give it a variable character. Whenever you are confused about the data type to use, just use variable character, because this can take any set of values. So I'm going to just give the length to be 50. And the last thing is the route. So we also have route. We are doing this table. So I'm also going to give it variable character. So the route, I'm going to give it 50 also. So what else? Now we have the table, right? So we have the database, which is Jubaili here, and we create a table. The name of the table is events. So of course, when we try to say show tables, it's going to show us that we have this table, right? Show tables is going to show us that we have the table event. And if we are to select, what is select star? This is select all the records from the table event. We are going to get empty because there is no record in this table. So we are just going to insert one record, only one record. So I'm going to describe the table just to be able to see the structure of the table. DESC, that is describe, then table name. So I'm going to provide value for the schedule ID, for the type, and for the route. So we are going to insert values into this table. Insert into, what is the name of the table? Event. So we write values. Okay. If, for example, you only want to insert into type and route without the schedule ID, there is another way. But for our case, we are going to insert values into this. So for the schedule ID, we can see that the data type, they are all variable character, meaning they all have to come under the single quotation mark because there is no integer. So I'm just going to give a schedule ID like 100 0, 1. This is 5, right? Okay, this will be the schedule ID, comma, then the type, okay? I don't know, I'm going to just write official. So, what else? The route. I'm just going to write this. These are things that are specific to UPS. We are only trying to do the database, not to make sense of it. They have their definitions. They know the type of the events that they have. They also know the names of their routes. We don't know that. Okay? This is general. So now we inserted these values. If we select start from events again, we are going to see the values. That's it. So the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to supply it from a web page like this. Just like this, okay? So now, let's follow the steps. Let's follow the steps. Step number 1, you go to drive C. This is step number 1. This PC, then you go to drive C. This is something that you have to memorize. That is why I'm recording the video so that you can play it again. So I'm going to go to drive C, and after drive C I'm going to see the WAM64. There is also WAM, so we are going to use the WAM64. Then we go to www, and it is in this www that we are going to create our project folder. Okay, this is where we are going to create the project folder. So I'm just going to create a new project. What was the name? So I'm going to call it Jubaili, the name of the project. Okay, so all our files will be in this particular folder, that is the Jubaili folder. Okay, since we are not going to have any image, we don't need to create any more folders. This is step number 1. Go to drive C, go to WAM64 or WAM. It depends on the WAM server that you have. Anyway, you open it, you should be able to find the www folder. Then you create your project folder. Then you open your Dreamweaver. From Dreamweaver, we are going to go to new. Okay, the mouse will be flickering because we are recording. So you go to new, make sure that you choose PHP. Make sure that you choose PHP and click on create. Click on create. So after this, you need to save the file. That is Control S. Or you go to file, you should be able to see save. So you have to go back to this PC, C, WAM64, www, Jubaili. Then we give it a name, okay? We give it a name. I can just call it event. You can call it any name that you want. In a website, any page that you named index, so that will be your home page. Whenever I visit your www. Whatever name, any page that has the name index is the one that is going to show. So we can give it index. Anyway, you have to choose this, the PHP. So for those of you that were able to get the CC Dreamweaver, you don't need to write any code. So for us, we are going to stop at PHP 5. So I'm going to click on save. So step number 1, you create the project folder. Step number 2, you just create one page and save it in the project folder. This is where you navigate between code, split, and design. Normally we like the design. So the next step is to create the site. As you can see from here, from the right, we have site, document type, and testing server. This, they should all be ticked if everything is okay. So nothing is okay, therefore we do not have a site. So we are going to go to site and then click on new site, then new site. So we're going to give our site a name. Okay, we're going to create a site, and the name of the site is going to be Jubaili. Then we need to get the folder. Like I mentioned before, you can find the folder here and click on select, but make sure that you read and make sure it is okay. It is under C164 www Jubaili. After that, you can either click on save or go to servers. It's better to go to the servers first because we are following this. We have finished with the site name and the document name. Now we are in the testing server. So we are going to click on this plus sign. The plus sign will allow us to add a server. Okay, so we click on it. The name of our server is always localhost. This cannot change. Localhost. And we are always going to use local/network. Okay, local/network. Local/network. And we have to select our project folder, which is this. Always read and make sure that it is okay. Next is the URL. Localhost. Localhost, that is standing for www, slash is for the dot. So Jubaili, then slash. We stop here, right? So we click on save. The next thing is that make sure that it is a testing server, not a remote server, because we are not connected to any server. We are doing everything here. So this is testing server. So I'm going to click on save. Then I have to look at this place. I have to make sure that all the three are ticked. Site is okay, document type is okay, testing server is okay. It means that now we have our website. Okay, now we have our website. So the next thing is to load the database, to connect the database to the site. We have databases here. Okay, in case you open and you couldn't find the databases or the bindings or the server behavior, you just need to go to Windows. You should be able to see in the drop down list, you should be able to see databases. Okay, it's visible now, that is why it is ticked. Okay, so I'm going to click on this plus sign. Then I will see my SQL connection. So this will allow me to connect to the database. This will allow me to connect to the database. So we are going to give the name to the connection. This is connection name. I will just keep using the same name. So the site, the connection name, and the database, they all have what? The same name. So it's not an issue. For the server, it's always going to be local. Even if this is online, by the way, we can show you how to host it online and you can access it just now. The name will not change. It has to be localhost. The username is always root. The username is always root. If you have a password, you need to enter it here. And if you do not have a password, not a problem. You just select here. Normally, there isn't any password. So you can see this is our database, right? So I'm going to select it. Okay, now you can click on test. When you click on test, you are going to get an error message. It will tell you that there is no password. It's more like, do you want to continue without password? So we just click on test. Okay, we get the error message. Okay, we click on test again. It will say that connection was made successful. So now we have connected our site with our database. So I'm just going to click on OK here. You will be able to see the database here. Can you see it? So once you click on this plus sign, you should be able to see the tables that are here in the database. Oh, the computer is slowing down. Okay, you just go to the tables. This is our table event. It's right here. And you can click to see that we have routes, schedule ID and type, and this is the same table here. So what we are trying to do is send a record so that when we just type select star from event, we should be able to receive the record. So now let's create a form. Okay, let's create a form. So I'm going to create a form, or I'm just going to type hello, just a text message. Is it okay? This is just a text message, and under the text message I'm going to have a form. I'm going to test the site first. I can preview in Chrome or any browser that you want. I always like Google Chrome, so I will be previewing here. So this is localhost /Jubaili /event, and we have hello here. So what we are going to do now is have a form here, so that when we click on submit or insert record, it should go to the database. So I'm going to go to insert. These are the steps. Insert, then data objects, insert, then data objects, then insert record, record insertion, form wizard. How many steps? 4, right? Insert, data objects, insert record, record insertion, form wizard. So I'm going to click on this. So once you click on this, because the site is already connected to the database, it will show you list of tables. In this case, we only have one table. Okay, so we'll be using it. After inserting, go to, this is if you have another page, like your record has been submitted. So you can choose it here, okay? But for us, we are not going to do that. We are just going to click on OK. We are just going to click on OK, and we have our form. We have our form. So as for this, we can always edit. It will come with insert record. You can just click on it and probably just change the label. This is just a label. You can just change it to submit. And also you can copy it here. Copy, Control C, paste. So instead of submit, you select this one. Down here you have submit and reset. You make it reset. You make it reset. And you can change the name. Like you mentioned, cancel will do. We can change it to cancel. This is okay. So now we have the form, but we are going to have some errors. So whether we like it or not, we have to do some little coding. It's very little. That is why I'm recording this, so that you can see the correction and you will be able to do it. So I'm just going to refresh the page, and then this is the form. Okay, this is the form. What we want is click on submit, go back here, type select star from event, and see the record. Okay, but we have some job to do. First of all, we have a problem here. It says that you should always look at this to find out where your problem is. This is in www Jubaili. We have another folder that is named connection, and inside the connection we have a file jubaili.php. So we have a problem in line 9. You can see here line 9. This is always, we always need to do this. This is because my browser is updated, okay, and the code has to change. You know, as programmers, we have to find a way to eat food also, to get something in our pocket. So we have to make sure that we give you a software that you must update in order for you to continue to use it. Yes, the codes are also living organisms, you know, they evolve. So we have to change. What they are telling us here is that there is no longer pconnect. It doesn't work. So now I have to go and find this folder and this file. So I have to go to, where is that? Here. You see, before we only have this file. This was done automatically by the Dreamweaver. So I have to go to connections. Then I have to open this. I have to open this file, Jubaili. I think it's opened, or it will open. You can also find it here in the files. You will be able to see connections here. All you need to do is click on the plus sign and you will see the list. So this is Jubaili. So what we need to do is go to code. This is very simple thing. Now there is no pconnect. There is only connect. And also they changed the protocol from MySQL to MySQLi integrated. My structured query language integrated. That's all. That's all we need to do. I hope you get it. Control Z. Before it was MySQL_p connect. We have to make it MySQLi. MySQLi connect. That's it. If you look at this, this is telling us that the name of the host or the server is localhost. The name of the database is Jubaili. The username is root. You could remember when we were putting all these things. The password is empty. You cannot even give a space because it's empty. Then you create, this is just what you call a variable. You create a variable that connects all these 4 items. That is why I was saying that even yesterday we could have write the code. Anyway, we need this code to continue. So we need to copy this. I will just copy it. Let's go back here. Now we have resolved this issue. Okay? As you can see, the thing is that my SQL extension is what? Deprecated. Meaning it's outdated. Okay? This code is outdated. You cannot run it on this browser, but you can run it on XP, Vista, Windows 7, it will work. And also the browser itself is both the operating system and the browser. So as you can see, now we have what? No error. Now we have no problem. But still we have a problem. If I try to send another ID 10002, right? What should I write for the type? This is event, right? I will just write graduation ceremony. What is supposed to happen is when I click on this submit, the record should go to the database. Okay, but I'm going to get an error. So I click on submit, I have an error. There's nothing to worry about. So it means what I want is if I say select star from event, enter, I should be able to see my new record, but it is not here. So we have to correct this error. So for those of you that will follow the video, you should be able to see. This is on line 10, line 10, line 10, and line 10, and line 10, and it's kind of the same line that we have to make the corrections, okay? And the problem is the same. It's all about we are using MySQLi. We are using MySQLi. So we can see that it's still line 10 until here, line 10. Then we also have line 45 and 46, and it's all MySQLi. MySQLi. So I'm going to start with line 10. Okay. So this is event. I have to go to code. I have to go to code. Okay. I have to just find line 10. This is line 10. Okay. So what the first thing to do is make sure that this is my SQLi and this is also my SQLi. This is line 10. However, the thing is my SQLi is taking 2 variables. This is going with 1. So we need the connection variable. Okay. We need this Jubaili. So what I'm going to do is simple. I will copy this. This is what you always need to do. I will just copy this. Before line 10, I'm just going to paste it. I hope you understand. Yes. I paste it. I don't need to repeat anything. All I need is the connection variable. This is the connection variable, because my SQLi need connection first before getting the value. So I just need to paste it here, connection, comma. Okay. In here, I'm also going to paste it, connection, comma. This is line 10. We are done with line 10. Then we also have line what? 45. But the problem is, I think they have changed now, right? They have changed from 45. So let's reload it to see the new line number. Only just 2 corrections. That's it. So we are going to reload this. Now they are line 51 and 52. So because we paste that value, that is why. So now it's 51 and 52. So it's just changing the MySQL to MySQLi, and then changing this to MySQLi. Then again, there is what they call string and object. What, do you know the meaning of string? String is text, right? So the connection is an object. So MySQLi is string, then object. MySQL is object, then string. Okay? So we have to change this. This is the database connection, and this is the instruction for connecting the database, if you could remember. So all you need to do is delete this and change it. Just, it should come here first. That's it. Because you have to tell it that connect this database first, then get access to the database. So I'm just going to put it here also with a comma, and then that's it. We only change. Okay? So now let's refresh and see, are we going to have any problem or not? So everything is okay now. Everything is okay. You can go back to your database, do like this. You can see the record is inserted. So we can insert another record, okay? So 10003, right? Let's just say dance, okay? What name should I give it? So I really do not know the meaning of this route. I'm just putting it, okay? I will just write this. So I will just click on submit, and the record has been submitted. So I just come here and I will see that the record has been submitted. So we have recorded this. You should be able to launch this very small form and then submit the record. Another thing that you can do is create another page to display the record. That is, as we are displaying it in this table, you can also display it on a web page. Okay, should we do that also? Okay, let's do that. So in this case, we don't need to go back here. Okay, we should be able to see it on the other page. So I can just go back to design. This is okay. So we just Control N or File New, then create. Okay. So we can give it a name. What name should we give it? I'm going to just call it event_records. Okay. Events_records. So PHP save. Okay. Now what we need is to display the record on a web page. So remember, we have worked with this, right? Databases. The next one is what? Binding. The name suggests it. Binding. We are going to bind the record to this page. Okay? So binding. So everything is set here. Then we are going to click. Okay? Hopefully it's going to work. We are going to click on record set. Record set. Because most of the thing has to do with some versions. And we are trying to avoid code. Right? So I'm just going to call it record set 1. And I will click on test to see. I want the record like this, right? The record should be displayed like this. This is okay, right? So I'm going to just click on okay. So that's it. Should I do it again? Close. You go to bindings, click on this plus sign, you will see record set. You will see record set. So you don't need to give it another name. That's it. You can click on OK. If you have other tables, you can do this. And if, for example, we only want to see the type and the route without the schedule, you can go to selected and you can do like this. Selected. You can select like 2. When you click on test, you will only see the 2. Okay. But we want to see all records, so we are just going to click on all records. Okay. And then click on OK. So now we have our record set here. So the next step is just go to insert, data object. Then we have record set. So we go to dynamic data and dynamic table. Okay? Because this is a table, we are going to just put a dynamic table so that whenever we add a record, it will automatically fetch the record from the database and display it. So it's data objects, dynamic data, dynamic table. Then it's going to ask us which record we want to display. In our case, it's record set 1. And then we can also ask it to show only 10 records at a time. So this means that we can add next bar. But I don't want us to take time. We can just click on all records. Okay, okay, we can just click on all records. Because if you limit the records, you have to have navigation bar, the one that you will see next page, previous page, first page. We can do that also. Okay, so anyway, I will just leave it at 10. Click on OK. Okay, this will display the record. We will see that we will have the schedule ID. If you want, you can change it like this. And we can also make the ID here to be S. Okay. As for the paging, it has to be done down here if we want. But we can stop here. So I'm going to save this. Let's try and preview this and see what error are we going to have, or are we just going to get the records. So we have an error. What is the error here? Can you remember this? SQLI, right? Yeah. So we have to go to 41 and 44. So 41 and 44. So let's go to 41 here and 44. So this is 41. Remember, it's the same. When you have this with I, then you need to what? Change, right? Yes. You need to switch these two. Like, I get the SQL query before I get the connection. No, I get the connection before I get the database. Line 41 and it was 44, right? Yes. Okay, for 44, I'm just going to have this I. Then we do like this. Then we need to delete these ones. Okay. So I'm going to save. So now we have more errors. Okay. We have line 45, 50, 51. So should we go and do that? 45 is what? MySQL, MySQLi, MySQLi. So 45, 50, 50, 50. So 50 we have 3 and 51. So 45, where is 45? 45 should have I, then 50, 50, right? 50 also is I, 51 is also I. Now what else? 75. 75 is also I. 81 is also I. I hope we do not lose the record set. Okay, we have the record set, but we still have error. Where and where? 50 and 51. Anyway, this is our target, okay, to get it. So 50 and 51, we have to go back and see what is happening, line 50 and 51. So what is wrong here? SQL query, we need to provide this, okay. This was 50 and 51. Okay, so now what we need to do is, by the way, I didn't correct the 51 because it doesn't need to be corrected. It's 50 that is affecting 51. So I don't need to confuse you with the coding. So now we can add another record, 2003. Okay, now if I submit this, right? So I should be able to see the record where in this, yes, it should be on this table. You can see it, right? Yeah. So this is the basic concept. Okay, we can stop here. So normally this is what you need for data analysis. The people that are using this, because data analysis is, for example, you take a data of daily temperature or weekly temperature. It's up. They are always entering the record. So data analysis is for you to look at the data and make some analysis. It depends. Sometimes it's modeling, sometimes it's forecasting, sometimes it's prediction. There is difference between forecasting and prediction. So we will talk about data analysis. Mostly data analysis we will be doing theory. Yeah, because we don't have time for the other thing. Do you know Python? Anyone here that knows Python? Okay, so, okay. Okay, so as for this one, I can stop the video now. You can try it. You can also host it online. Yes. If you want, we can host it right now, and you can open it. Yes. Now, we can host it online right now, and you can open it. But that is going to take some time. But it's not a big deal, actually. It's not much of a big deal. The first thing that you need to do is change the PHP to 7. Okay? That is the first thing that you need to do. Change the PHP to 7. I'm going to do that. Okay, it's still changing. All you need to do first thing is change the PHP to 7, export the database. You will have a file. The name of our database is Jubaili, right? You will have jubaili.sql. You know you have your project folder, right? Put the SQL in the project folder. Take the project folder, put it online. That's it. Yes. But for you to host it online, you need an online account. I have. So I can show it to you. The thing is, the online and the one that we are doing local host offline is all the same. Doesn't change. It's all the same. So I have changed the PHP. So it's right here, PhpMyadmin. If you could remember, we opened this. Yes. The reason why I changed it to 7 is because PhpMyAdmin will not launch on PHP 5. Okay, it's no longer going to launch on PHP 5. Okay, it's going to what do you call it, Explorer, because this is my default browser for the WAMP server. So wait for it to load. Do you want us to show the hosting, or we should just go to data analysis? I think we should go to data analysis, right? Yeah, we can just go to data analysis. Okay, we can just go to data analysis. This one we can do it any other time, hosting online. Or you can watch a video on how to do that. It's very easy. So I'm going to press escape. This means that the recording will stop here.